Imagine if every obstacle in your life, failure, rejection, fear, even pain, wasn't something to avoid, but a stepping stone toward becoming unbreakable. The ancient Stoics believed that the mind is the ultimate fortress. If you can master it, no external event can ever control you. In this video, we're diving into 9 Stoic strategies that will give you an unstoppable mindset. By the end, you'll know how to face any challenge, transform pain into power, and become limitless. If you're someone who loves practical wisdom that actually changes your life, consider subscribing, because here, we explore timeless philosophies that build modern warriors. 1. Control the controllables. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is so simple that most people overlook it. Focus only on what you can control and let go of everything else. At first, it might sound too obvious, but when you really live by this principle, it changes everything. Think about how much of your daily stress comes from trying to manage things outside your influence. What others think of you, whether your boss will ever recognize your work, the economy, the weather, or even traffic. You can't stop someone from judging you. You can't rewrite yesterday's mistakes. You can't force luck to appear in your favor. But you can always control your response. You can control your effort, your discipline, your honesty, your choices in the present moment. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every morning, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Imagine applying that mindset when someone insults you. Instead of instantly reacting with anger, you pause and remind yourself, their words are outside your control, but your reaction isn't. That single pause transforms weakness into strength. Let's take another example. Imagine a student worried about exam results. They spend sleepless nights stressing about the outcome. But results are outside their control. What is within their control is how many hours they study, how focused they stay, and how much effort they put in. By shifting energy from outcomes to actions, you not only reduce anxiety, but also perform better. When you stop fighting battles you can't win, you free up energy to win the ones you can. That's why Stoicism is not passive. It's deeply practical. It's about reclaiming your power from everything you cannot change and investing it where it truly matters. The unstoppable mindset begins here, knowing that peace comes when you master yourself, not when the world bends to your will. 2. Practice voluntary discomfort. One of the biggest secrets of Stoic strength is that they didn't wait for life to hit them with pain. They practiced it ahead of time. Seneca, one of the wealthiest men in Rome, would deliberately wear rough clothing, eat simple bread, or sleep on the floor. People wondered why a man with access to luxury would live so simply. His answer? To prepare. He asked himself, "Is this what I feared?" By experiencing discomfort voluntarily, he robbed it of its power to scare him. This practice builds resilience because the truth is, comfort makes us soft. Modern life is filled with conveniences, fast food, air conditioning, instant entertainment, endless scrolling. While comfort feels nice, it slowly kills our mental toughness. Then, when real hardship comes, a job loss, a breakup, financial struggle, we collapse because we never trained for it. The Stoics did the opposite. They hardened their spirit through small challenges, so they could face big ones with calm. You don't need to sleep on stone floors to follow this principle today. You can start with simple habits. Take a cold shower, fast for 12 hours, walk instead of driving, exercise without music, or leave your phone in another room. These are not punishments, they're training sessions. Every time you practice discomfort voluntarily, you prove to yourself that you can endure more than you think. And once you learn that you can endure, fear loses its grip on you. The modern world tells you that happiness comes from chasing comfort. The Stoics teach the opposite. Strength comes from embracing discomfort. It doesn't mean avoiding pleasure. It means not depending on it. When you're no longer afraid of losing comfort, you become free. That's why voluntary discomfort isn't suffering. It's liberation. The more you train your mind to handle less, the more unstoppable you become when life demands more. 3. Negative visualization. Most people go through life avoiding negative thoughts. We're told to stay positive and never think about bad things. But the Stoics believe the opposite. Sometimes you need to imagine the worst-case scenario, not to suffer twice, but to prepare and to appreciate what you have. This practice is called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Marcus Aurelius, every morning, reminded himself that he would meet liars, greedy people, angry people, and selfish people during his day. Why? Because by expecting it, he wouldn't be shocked when it happened. If someone insulted him, he had already rehearsed that moment in his mind. Instead of getting upset, he simply thought, this is what I prepared for. That preparation is what made him unshakable. But negative visualization isn't just about people. It's also about life itself. Seneca suggested imagining the loss of wealth, health, or loved ones. At first, it sounds harsh. Why would anyone think of such things? But here's the truth. When you imagine losing something, you instantly become more grateful that you still have it. For example, if you visualize your home burning down, suddenly the roof over your head feels like a blessing. If you imagine life without a loved one, your conversations with them become more meaningful. By contemplating loss, you don't become sad, you become awake. This practice also reduces fear. Let's say you're about to give a big presentation. Instead of panicking, you practice negative visualization. What's the worst that can happen? Maybe you stumble. Maybe a few people laugh. Maybe you feel embarrassed. Is that really so terrible? Once you face the worst in your mind, it no longer terrifies you. You become free to act with courage. Negative visualization doesn't make you pessimistic. It makes you resilient and grateful. You stop taking life for granted and start living with urgency. The Stoics understood that life is fragile, and by rehearsing its fragility, they built unshakable strength. This is the paradox of Stoicism. When you embrace the possibility of loss, you gain the power to truly live. 4. Turn obstacles into fuel. Life is full of roadblocks, failures, betrayals, setbacks, and unexpected losses. Most people see these obstacles as enemies, as reasons to quit. But the Stoics flipped this thinking upside down. Marcus Aurelius wrote a line so powerful that it still inspires people today. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, the obstacle isn't blocking your path. The obstacle is the path. Every difficulty is an invitation to grow stronger. Think about Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times while trying to invent the light bulb. Most people would have seen each failure as proof that it was impossible. But Edison reframed every mistake as progress, saying, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's the Stoic principle in action. Obstacles as teachers, failures as stepping stones. When you face a breakup, you can choose despair, or you can turn it into a chance to learn self-respect and independence. When you lose a job, you can complain endlessly, or you can see it as the push you needed to chase something better. Even pain itself can be transformed into wisdom and empathy for others. The obstacle doesn't take away your power, it reveals it. The next time you're blocked, stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What can this teach me? How can I use this?" When you think like this, nothing can truly defeat you, because even your worst setbacks become fuel. That is how you become unstoppable. Not by avoiding obstacles, but by transforming them into the very material that builds your strength. 5. Master the art of discipline. Freedom sounds like doing whatever you want, whenever you want. But the Stoics saw through that illusion. To them, true freedom is mastery over yourself, your urges, your impulses, your distractions. Epictetus, once a slave, said, "No man is free who is not master of himself. The man who cannot control his desires, his anger, or his laziness is not free. He's a prisoner to them." Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. Without it, dreams remain dreams. With it, you shape your destiny. The Stoics lived by strict routines, rising early, training their minds with philosophy, training their bodies through hardship, and holding themselves accountable to their values. For them, discipline wasn't punishment, it was liberation. Think about your own life. How often do you let moods dictate your actions? You feel tired, so you skip the workout. You feel bored, so you scroll endlessly. You feel lazy, so you delay your work. Each small surrender chains you a little more to weakness. Discipline, on the other hand, is saying, "I act according to my values, not my moods." Modern examples prove this timeless principle. The athlete who trains every day, even when uninspired, becomes a champion. The writer who writes a page daily, even when uninspired, finishes the book. Discipline builds unstoppable momentum. You stop living at the mercy of comfort, and you start living with direction. The Stoic path is not about rigid suffering, but about strength through self-command. Imagine a mind so trained that no craving can sway you, no laziness can slow you, no fear can stop you. That is the gift of discipline. It makes you untouchable. 6. Embrace the present moment. How much of your life have you wasted in the past or the future, regretting mistakes you can't change, or worrying about events that may never happen? The Stoics saw this as one of the greatest diseases of the human mind. Living anywhere but here. Seneca said, "We are always complaining that our days are few and acting as though there will be no end of them. We treat time as if it's infinite, when in reality, it's the most fragile thing we own. The present moment is the only place where life exists. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow is a dream, and the now is all you truly have." The Stoics trained themselves to anchor their thoughts to the present. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." That didn't mean ignoring the future. It meant refusing to live in anxiety or regret. Plan for tomorrow, but live today. When you live in the present, you act with clarity. Instead of being paralyzed by the fear of future failure, you take the step in front of you. Instead of replaying old arguments in your head, you focus on the conversation you're having right now. Living in the moment doesn't mean recklessness. It means presence. It means giving your full energy to the only thing you actually control, what you're doing right now. This is why mindfulness practices, journaling, and meditation align so closely with Stoicism. They bring you back to the now, grounding you in reality. The more you live here, the less power regret and fear have over you. Life doesn't slip away in endless distraction. It becomes sharper, more vivid, more meaningful. The unstoppable mind isn't trapped in yesterday's mistakes or tomorrow's fears. It is anchored, calm, and alive in the present moment. That's where power lives. That's where freedom lives. And that's where you live your best life. Right here, right now. 7. Strength through reflection. The Stoics believed that self-mastery doesn't just happen. You have to train for it. And one of their most powerful tools was reflection. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the Roman world, spent his nights writing in his journal. Not about victories, not about riches, but about his own thoughts and weaknesses. Those notes, never meant to be published, became meditations, one of the greatest works of philosophy. Reflection was his way of keeping his mind sharp, humble, and aligned with his values. Think about why reflection matters. Every day, we make choices. Some are guided by wisdom, others by impulse. If we never stop to examine them, we repeat the same mistakes over and over. But when you sit down, even for just 10 minutes, and ask yourself, did I act with courage today? Did I let anger control me? Did I waste my time? You turn your day into a lesson. Failures become teachers. Successes become roadmaps. Each night, you become a little wiser than you were that morning. This practice works because it keeps your inner compass pointed in the right direction. Without reflection, life pushes you around like a leaf in the wind. With reflection, you steer your ship. You notice patterns. Maybe you get frustrated too quickly, or maybe you avoid hard conversations. Awareness is the first step toward mastery. Today, journaling is one of the simplest but most powerful ways to apply Stoicism. You don't need a long essay. A few lines of honest reflection are enough. Write about what tested you, what you did well, and what you could do better. Over time, you'll see yourself grow stronger, calmer, and more disciplined. Reflection is like sharpening a sword. You don't notice the difference after a single stroke, but after many, the blade becomes razor sharp. And so does your mind. The Stoics knew that a life unexamined drifts into weakness, but a life reflected upon moves steadily towards strength. 8. Indifference to insults. Most people live as prisoners of other people's opinions. A single insult ruins their mood. A rude comment on social media shakes their confidence, and gossip behind their back makes them restless. The Stoics found this tragic. Epictetus said, "If someone speaks ill of you, don't defend yourself. Simply reply, 'He does not know the rest of my faults, or he would not have mentioned only these.'" That is how little the wise man values insults. The truth is, words only hurt when you hand them power. If someone calls you weak, their words don't define you. Your response does. If you react with anger, you've handed over control of your emotions. But if you respond with calm indifference, you prove that no one can disturb your inner peace. Imagine two scenarios. In the first, someone mocks you, and you explode with rage. Who is really in control? You or them? In the second, someone mocks you, and you smile, maybe even agree lightly, and move on. In that moment, you've taken back the power. Their insult bounces off you like arrows hitting a shield. The Stoics trained themselves to see insults as empty air. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." In other words, pain from words is not automatic. It's a choice. In our modern world, this principle is more relevant than ever. Online comments, workplace politics, casual mockery. All of it can drain you if you let it. But if you adopt Stoic indifference, criticism becomes harmless. You realize that insults say more about the speaker than about you. And when you master this art, you become untouchable. Not because insults stop, but because they can no longer touch your mind. 9. Remember your mortality, memento mori. The most sobering, yet most empowering Stoic practice is memento mori. Remember you must die. To many, this sounds grim, even depressing, but for the Stoics, it was the ultimate reminder to live with purpose. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." By remembering the shortness of life, he found clarity about what truly mattered. Think about it. How many days do we waste on trivial things? Endless scrolling, pointless arguments, chasing shallow pleasures, putting off dreams for someday. We live as if life is infinite, but it isn't. Every day is borrowed. Every breath could be the last. Far from making life darker, this truth makes it brighter. It sharpens your focus. If today were your final day, would you waste it in gossip? Would you waste it in fear? Or would you spend it in courage, in love, in creating something meaningful? Memento mori doesn't mean living recklessly. It means living urgently. It means recognizing that the clock is always ticking, and therefore, every moment is precious. Death is not the enemy. It is the teacher. It tells us, don't postpone gratitude, don't delay forgiveness, don't wait to chase your calling. Do it now. Even great emperors, warriors, and philosophers faced death. No wealth, no fame, no power could escape it. The Stoics understood this truth, and instead of running from it, they embraced it. By looking death in the eye, they learned how to truly live. When you carry memento mori in your heart, fear fades. Regret fades. All that remains is urgency, clarity, and purpose. Life is short, but that's exactly why it can be full of meaning. The unstoppable mind doesn't deny mortality. It accepts it and uses it as fuel to live a life worth remembering.